Hey, this is Terry Clay. I am back with another video. And so I am here at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Atlanta. I just finished a session with my client, my coaching client. I teach people how to, as a speaker myself, how to break into the speaking business. And so we just finished a session, and so I decided to take a moment to do a video. They've actually dimmed the lights in here, so it's kind of a little bit, you know, romantic music, I guess lighting, I guess, so to speak. But I'm decided to do the video anyway, even though the lighting's a little dark. But so I decided to do a video called "How Not to Avoid Peer Pressure." And so, I got to thinking that when my kids were young, when I was, they're young, I would tell them to avoid peer pressure. When I was telling them to avoid peer pressure, I was thinking along the terms of, if you see your friends smoking, not to smoke. If you see them drinking, you don't have to drink. If they were, smoking weed or doing drugs or anything like that, you don't have to follow them. And I was telling them, you don't have to follow the leader. You should, as you don't have to follow your peers. You should want to avoid peer pressure. And so the older I got, I still, I'm a 7-day Adventist, and not that it's peer pressure, but as a 7-day Adventist, I go to church on Saturdays. And my point is, it's different to see everybody, or the majority, to go to church on Sundays, and here I go to church on Saturdays. And that's how I was as a kid. It was different, but that's how I was raised. And eventually I had my own relationship with God, and I still believe in that. But the point is, along the lines, I am still not doing what the majority is doing. I am like standing alone. And so even though the majority goes to church on Sundays, I still don't avoid peer pressure, so to speak. But anyway, then I got to thinking, and other ways that you would see people as an entrepreneur. The majority of the world goes to work at 9 to 5. They get a check on Fridays or Thursdays or whatever day they get paid. And guess what? As an entrepreneur, I had to stand alone, and I slept on the floor for my dream. People laughed at me for my dream. Oh my goodness, it was unreal for my dream. I didn't have a car. I lost my car. I lost my place. All for my dream. I was laughed at. And even though the majority went to work, 9 to 5, or a 12-hour shift as a nurse. I used to work 12-hour shift. I had to learn to avoid peer pressure. And I would say peer pressure because the majority went to work, got that paycheck, that guaranteed paycheck, while I may have went months without receiving any money. And so as I got older and as I became an entrepreneur, I started to realize that I wanted to, I did not want to avoid peer pressure. And there were certain people that I wanted to be just like, that I wanted to follow them and let me just tell you how I follow these people. First thing, every morning at 7, every morning I am up and at 9 o'clock. List on a Think and Go Rich call. And I am on the call with 5, 6, 7, 8 figure earners, all mastermind and putting their minds together how they can make 5, 6, 7, 8 figures. Well, those are my peers. Shouldn't I want to follow and be like them? Shouldn't I want to be just like them? For example, I was listening to one of my blog posts yesterday, talked about this 70,000 a month earner. And this 70,000 a month earner told me that he reads these books. He actually recommended these books to read. Well, if he recommended that I read these books, I'm going to follow my peer. No, I'm not going to avoid peer pressure when it comes to making $70,000 a month. No, I'm going to do exactly what he did to get to that $70,000 a month. So this video today is how not to avoid peer pressure. In some areas, if your peers are multimillionaires and you want to become a multimillionaire, that is the time to follow your peers. If your peers tell you of millionaires or billionaires tell you to read these books or to take these steps, then you know what? That's the steps you need to take. No, instead of avoiding peer pressure, that's when you need to follow the leader and do as your peers are doing. So my video today just says that find some peers that you can follow so that you don't avoid the peer pressure. So this is Terry Clay. I am back. I would like you to like and share this video if you think you can help somebody with it. If you know somebody who is an entrepreneur that is trying to change their life and trying to figure out how it's done, let this video help them and take it to the next level. I'm going to end this video here. It has been a word from Terry Clay. It is my purpose to change the world with positive words, and I am